Perhaps they're all just waiting. Perhaps when we're all dead, out they'll come a-slithering from underneath the bed. What's that in the mirror?
What's that?
Or the corner of your eye?
In the mirror.
What's that footstep
Or the
following,
corner of your eye.
but never passing by?
Footsteps following.
Perhaps they're all just waiting.
In the mirror,
But
or
never
the
passing
corner
by.
of your eye.
Dead.
What's that
Perhaps it
footstep
Out they'll come a-slithering
but never passing
from underneath the bed.
Perhaps they're all just waiting.
From underneath.
Perhaps when we're all dead,
What's
out
that in the
they'll
mirror?
come a-slithering
Or the corner of your eye?
underneath the bed.
What's that footstep following, but never passing?
Footsteps following.
Perhaps they're all
What's
just
that in
waiting.
the mirror, or the corner of your eye?
Dead.
What's that
Out
footstep
they'll come
following,
a-slithering
but never passing
underneath the bed.
Perhaps they're all just waiting.
From underneath the bed.
Perhaps when we're all dead, out they'll come a-slithering from underneath the bed.
Following,
What's that footstep following,
never passing
never
by.
passing by?
Perhaps they're all just waiting.
Just waiting.
Perhaps when we're all dead,
What's
Out
that
they'll
they'll
come
come
a-slithering
a-slithering
from underneath
never
the
passing
bed.
underneath the bed.
Perhaps
From
they're
underneath
all
the
just
bed.
waiting. Perhaps when we're
What's that in
all
the mirror?
dead, out
The
they'll come
corner of your eye.
a-slithering
Is that footstep following,
Or the corner
never
of your
passing
eye.
by?
What's that
Perhaps
in
they're
the
all just
mirror?
waiting.
Corner of your eye.
Perhaps when we're all
What's
dead,
that
Never passing by.
out they'll come a-slithering
Perhaps they're all just waiting.
underneath the bed.
Just
Of your eye. What's that footstep
When
following,
we're all
From
dead,
underneath
passing
out they'll come a-slithering from underneath the
What's
bed.
that? In the
out
mirror.
they'll come a-slithering
What's that
from
in the mirror?
underneath the
In the
bed.
mirror.
Or the corner of your eye?
Footsteps following.
What's that
Is
in the
that
mirror?
footstep
Or the
following,
corner of your
Never
eye.
passing by.
never passing by?
Perhaps they're all just
Perhaps they're all just waiting.
Perhaps when we're
Perhaps when we're all dead, of your eye. Is out they'll come a-slithering following, from underneath the bed. Dead.
from underneath.
Perhaps they're all just waiting. Come a-slithering. Perhaps when we're all dead underneath the bed, out they'll come a-slithering from underneath the bed. What's that in the mirror? Or the corner of your eye? What's that in the mirror? What's that footstep following your eye?
What's that in the
Never
mirror?
passing by.
What's that?
Perhaps they're all just waiting. Dead. Perhaps when we're out they'll come a-slithering from underneath the
Passing
bed.
by. Perhaps they're all just waiting.
We're all dead.
Perhaps when we're
What's that in the mirror?
Slithering.
Or the corner of your eye?
What's that in the mirror?
What's that footstep
Your
following?
eye.
What's the corner of your eye? Dead. Perhaps they're all just waiting. They'll come a-slithering. Perhaps when we're all
Perhaps when they're all dead, out they'll come a-slithering
never
from
passing
underneath
by.
the bed.
Perhaps they're all just waiting. Perhaps when we're all dead.
When we're all dead, out they'll come
What's that in the mirror or the corner of your eye? What's that footstep following,
What's that in the
never
mirror?
passing by?
Or the corner of your
Perhaps
eye?
they're all just waiting.
What's that footstep following?
Out they'll come a-slithering
Passing by.
from underneath the bed.
Perhaps they're all just waiting.
Perhaps they're all just waiting.
Perhaps when we're all dead,
Perhaps when we're all dead.
out they'll come a-slithering
all dead.
from underneath the bed.
Slithering from underneath the bed.
What's that? In the mirror.
What's that in the mirror?
Corner
Or the corner of your eye?
Footsteps
What's
following.
that footstep following,
Never passing by.
never passing by? Perhaps they're all just waiting. Perhaps when we're all dead, what's that in the mirror? Out they'll come a-slithering of your eye.
underneath
All dead. Out they'll come a-slithering. What's that in the mirror? Or the corner of your eye?
What's that footstep
What's that footstep following,
passing by?
Never passing
never passing following? Perhaps they're all just waiting.
Out
Or the
they'll
corner
come
of your eye,
a-slithering
all just waiting.
underneath
What's that? Out they'll come a-slithering from never past bed.
You're about to listen to the Timey-Wimey Tea Time Podcast, a geekyantics.net and allgames.com production. Find out what everyone's talking about. The Doctor, of course. Doctor Who? Exactly, that Doctor. Join us live at www.twitch.tv/geekyantics. That's GEEKYANTICS. Hang out with us, ask questions, laugh, and have at it. We can't wait to hear what's on your minds and hearts.
Timey-Wimey Tea Time.
Greetings and welcome to Timey-Wimey Tea Time, where friends gather to talk about all things Doctor Who, sci-fi, fantasy, zombies, creativity, and everything geek. I'm Yomar Lopez, known throughout the interwebs for, wow, it's been over 15 years. I'm known as YogiZilla, but friends call me Yogi. I'm a gamer, a dreamer, an author of silliness, a disgruntled techie, a wild-eyed entrepreneur, and a fistful of happy emojicons and sunshine. I ran into battle upon my little pony, and out of my mouth comes laughing swords of peppermint and ginger. Well, at least that's what my friends tell me. I am joined, as well, and as always, by my friend, my colleague, my partner in crime, Stan, the man, Faryna.
Hello.
So Stan is the sexy, poetic voice of Gallifrey. He is a dangerous man. A man that speaks to our want for curiosity, wonder, and self-discovery. He's a monster that gives us permission to be completely honest about who we are, what we really want, and how we can live, love, and grow. Heroically, at that. He's also a bit of a troll.
That's epic.
It is epic. We try to bring the epic every time. Now, I think we should just come right on with this and make it known that this is gonna be a little timey-wimey and wibbly-wobbly because we're pre-recording this and then it's gonna, stream.
Why are we pre-recording?
I'm gonna get to it. Good lord.
Okay.
Stan just ruined my flow.
I'm just getting off the script.
Yeah. Oh, see, there's the troll. The troll has come out. But we are pre-recording because in a few hours I will be heading over to Atlanta and setting up a off-site home base for WalkerStalkerCon. So that presents some interesting logistics. So anyway, we're pre-recording and we're gonna stream this live as if we're here, but we're not really. So you won't get the same live experience. But that's alright. Most people are experiencing us through YouTube and the audio podcast feed after the fact. Again, everybody has different schedules, so we would love you for if you joined us live though. And where can you join us live? I'm glad you asked, Stan. I know that question was coming next. We usually are live on allgames.com for the audio stream. And then we have a live chat at twitch.tv/geekyantics. Ideally, we'd love for you to just start both streams and just mute one of them, because keeping those streams running, that helps our numbers, and numbers mean advertisers and sponsors, and basically we don't become homeless, We can stay starving artists, but we'll still have a roof over our head. That's important. Then we keep bringing you the epic. What else? What else can we say? Yes, we are usually, there might be some anomalies here and there, but typically we are live every Saturday at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Madrid, 5 p.m. London, and 7 p.m. in Bucharest. And yeah, I think it covers everything. Anything else that I missed there, Stan?
Nope, you got it.
All right. Well, a great adventure awaits us today. Come along, won't you? In the first half of the show, where we're in right now, we'll continue with our little bit more of our welcome and intros, a little bit of bantering and adventure. Not much more. And we're going to jump into one of the biggest parts of the first half, which is our comments and reflections. Then we'll share our show call-in information. And then we'll have a bit of an intro to Series 8 of Doctor Who, Episode 8, Mummy on the Orient Express. And then we'll close with a nice little voicemail message from Tanya in Thailand, if I'm not mistaken. What else? We will be doing a little mishmash, as you'll see, in the second half. So let's talk about the second half. So we'll start off with our usual Who's Who, where we introduce the Doctor to those that may have been sitting on the fence or don't really get what the big deal is and why we're so excited about it, and perhaps obsessive. We'll share our passion with you and hopefully make that love for Doctor Who contagious. Then we'll get into something that we've kind of branded over the past 3 or 4 episodes, our big stuff, little stuff. And that's where we share big points and little points. And in this installment, we're going to talk about Doctor Who and some other shows. Specifically, Selfie on ABC, which is a rom-com, but saying that I think doesn't do it justice. I think it's a story about humanity.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair, right?
Yeah.
And then, of course, we can't not talk about The Walking Dead, because Season 5 just premiered. Yeah. So that's going to be a big thing. We might go off on some tangents there, so we will apologize in advance for those that don't like the bantering. Sorry. It's going to happen. But then we'll go back into some more community stuff with our community interconnect. And this is also the time where we may do some advertisement, sponsor / endorsement type stuff. We try to keep it light, but you do got to pay the bills and keep the lights on. The money's got to come from somewhere. And lastly, we will probably share details about the Soft Kitty contest if we have time. If not, I do want to say you just go over to geekyantics.net /giveaways, and there's the official page for the Soft Kitty contest. That might be all we really need to say. It has all the rules, and the entries will be coming there, and we'll also announce the voting period and all that good stuff. Mind you, it is a contest, not a giveaway or sweepstake. There is a big difference. One is performance driven, and the other one's luck, chance, random. So it's important to note that, especially for legal purposes. So it is a contest, which means there will be voting, there will be a performance piece, and we're leaving the vote up to the community, so no one gets mad at us. Alright, and lastly, we will be doing our outro and shout-outs. It's a bit of a meaty shout-out, an outro section, because we do a lot of cross-promotion. We want to encourage others to collaborate and share the love. It's important. When we help others out, we make the world a better place. And then they might reciprocate. If they don't, well, that's their that's their loss. But we hope that they do. We like to form partnerships and pave a fun, productive future. But enough about that. As you're hearing this, I'm probably at StalkerCon in Atlanta. And if you if you're there, just come see me and say hi. And for those that are curious about StalkerCon and The Walking Dead, and maybe Vampire Diaries, Z Nation, etc., etc., you can check out our latest blog post, or one of our latest blog posts, depending on the timing, at geekyantics.net /blog. Or just go to geekyantics.net and click on the blog place, and then a little link on the top, and then it'll take you there, and you can see our write-up on StalkerCon, a little bit of history, a little bit of what to expect in terms of panels and guests, and also a little bit of talk about season 5. So I also gotta apologize in advance. My family, we're all night owls, so you're probably gonna hear a lot of bantering in the background. I don't have parrots. That's my family going on and on. They only have 2 volumes. One is sleeping, and the other one is wee. Love them to death. But anyway, you know, I do want to point out also, if you can't make it to Walker Stalker Con, you know, I apologize. I probably should have hyped this up much sooner than, you know, we've been doing it for about a month and a half. Probably should have been doing it for longer to give everybody an opportunity to rally. We will be doing meetups and whatnot, but it's not too late to take advantage of some remote stuff, like a mail-in service for autographs. Just head over to WalkerStalkerCon.com. That's WalkerStalkerCon.com, and all the deets are there. And you know what? If you leave a comment on there, let Eric and James know that Stan and Yomar over at Timey-Wimey Tea Time /Geeky Antics said hello. Cause we have press passes.
You think if I sent them a cardboard cutout of me, they'd like have celebrities take pictures next to my cardboard cutout?
I would think you'd have to set. I mean, they're pretty laid back. We could contact them on that, but I would think you needed to give them a little more heads up in that.
Sure, next year.
Next year.
That would be hilarious.
That would be.
You know, dittos next to my cutout. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Now we're giving some people ideas.
Yeah.
That's a M. Night Shyamalan moment. Plot twists. Yeah. Well, without further ado, let's get into. We said this about every segment, but really, the community stuff is the biggest part of the show. You want it to be just as much about you guys as it is about us. And you know, we feed off each other, we inspire each other, and that's what we want. So, this is the part where we get into some beautiful community feedback and get some conversations going. You ready, Stan?
Ready.
Brace yourself.
Delectable, geeky comments.
I wasn't ready for that.
I said brace yourself. I don't know how else I can warn you.
Oh, man, yeah.
Oh, I like it. Stop it. You beat yourself up too much. You know what, folks? Everybody, your mission right now is to leave a bunch of comments saying how much you love that sound bit. That's my mission. My personal mission to all of you listening.
We could re-record it too.
I suppose we can. I like it though. It's like every time I listen to it, I go back to that moment and it tickles me and it makes me smile. Yeah. Stan is kind of a slave to high production value.
I am.
You know, I'm trying to help him loosen up a little bit and just enjoy raw, natural things too. So we balance each other out.
We do.
But anyway, on YouTube, we have Victoret Sanchez, who writes, No sé cómo parar la boca. Digo cosas estúpidas todo el tiempo. Digo cosas malas. No quiero lastimar a la gente. Simplemente sucede. No quiero creer que existe el mal en mi corazón. Pero, como tú dices, habla la boca lo que está en el corazón. Man, I actually read that pretty well. I feel inspired.
Sounded good.
Did it? Yeah, I'm feeling the spirit, bro. I'm feeling the spirit. So let me translate for you guys. We are a bit bilingual, by the way. We're beginning quite a bit of stuff in Spanish and other languages, Russian, Romanian. Gosh, I can't even.
Ukrainian.
Ukrainian,
yeah. French.
French, yep. I think just about everything except for like maybe Japanese. Give me some Japanese love. Might start talking more anime.
I need little girls in school outfit, school uniforms. Before we get those comments.
Oh, that's not true. That's mouth garbage, my brother. That's the stereotype.
I apologize.
It's alright. That we all fall for that bias. I mean,
I repent of my error.
it's sad, but it's true. I mean, we think about Japanese, we think about people that are like really hyped up for no reason, like over the top shows and girls in sailor outfits, and you know, there's more to them than that. We will get to that in a future episode, actually. 'Cause I'm very intrigued. I'm a bit of an otaku when it comes to Japanese culture. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm going off on a complete tangent. But anyway, let me translate that. So, Victorette says that she doesn't know how to stop her mouth. She says things that are stupid all the time. I say bad things. I don't want to hurt people. It just happens. I don't want to believe that there's evil in my heart. But like you said, what the mouth speaks is what's in the heart. Some deep stuff there.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I'm just gonna say that we all make mistakes. We're human. It's an ongoing process. You're never gonna reach that fully enlightened, or perfect stage because we're human. We're flawed by nature. That's not an excuse either, though. You know, you can't just always use an excuse. You know, you know what I mean? Like, if people say, they'll make you excuses like, oh, I'm having my period, that's why I'm like that. Oh, I'm going through a midlife crisis. Oh, I had a bad day. You know, you gotta transform your thoughts and transform how you perceive situations. That makes a huge difference. So, that's all I'm gonna say on that. Stan?
Well, I think that, you know, a lot of the problem is culture. We happen to celebrate mouth garbage more than kindness and encouragement. Especially online, we reward suspicion, doubt, and contempt more than we reward praise, patience, and understanding. Why do we do that? I don't know.
Well, I think it's because, sadly, it's easier to be bitter and negative, sarcastic, whatever, salty, whatever you want to say. It's all the same thought processes, same motivations. But being compassionate, loving, positive, productive, that takes a real concerted effort. And some people just don't want to go through that. Or they just figure, oh, well, everybody else is doing it, I might as well join in. So you know, you have to be mature enough to just break that vicious cycle. Someone has to be the better person, right?
Right.
Now, BFT says that he loved the sound clip. He says it's an interesting sound. It builds the hype, then loses the hype. That's what's fun about it. It's like, delectable, geeky comments. What a great delivery. You could not reproduce that. Alright, Stan, you grab the next one.
Alright. Pedro Nava. Am I pronouncing his last name right, maybe?
Nava.
Pedro Nava writes, are you going to talk about The Walking Dead? Heck yeah!
So, first I'd like to say that back around episode 12-ish of Horseplay Live, one of our other podcasts on Geeky Answers Network, and also on allgames.com. That was actually listed. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. That's right, Derek H. Throwing some mouth garbage your way, because I love you. But we have our unofficial Zombie Talk miniseries where Zombie Cast and some other zombie fanatics join us. Normie, Sean Freeman, Matt Bradford. Some people that might be familiar to you already. And we go deep on the Walking Dead, and one of the things we were doing was predictions for season 5. And I was saying, we're gonna see Commando Carol because she's getting more and more like just awesome, you know. And she conquered her fears and became a useful part of the crew. Then they let her go. That forced her to go into survival mode. So she's gonna find them again, and she's gonna end up saving them. And boom, it happened. I mean, she did some freaking commando stuff right there. I mean, I'm sorry, by the way, spoilers if you haven't seen the season premiere of The Walking Dead season 5, but You know, she aimed that rocket just right. Like, really? She knew the trajectory would line up just right. She's like, that's some freaking Black Ops, Green Beret type stuff right there, dude. Now the issue here, and we're gonna go deeper on it, but the issue here is that they always have strong series premieres and series finales. This might be the strongest so far, but can they keep the momentum going? I mean, No Sanctuary set the bar really high, and I'm worried that we might see Maggie and Glenn killed off soon, or someone from the inner circle. Obviously, it's not going to be Daryl or Rick because, you know, that piss off too many fans. They're not going to be that bold. But I don't want to see Maggie or Glenn go. I don't know. They felt like they got very little screen time. So that's all I'm going to say about it right now. That's my takeaway. And I actually have some thoughts about cannibalism, but I'm not going to get into it because that would be a huge discussion. But I still have some doubts there, and I think Terminus is a bit of misdirection for the audience. And I hope they go there. I might be giving the writers a little more credit than they deserve. Sorry, Robert Kirkman. We love you, Robert Kirkman. Sam?
Yes. So, yeah, I agree. No Sanctuary rocked. Red meat, explosions, lots of zombies, emotional tension, and spoilers. Carol is back. And like Bruce Banner, you don't want to see Tyrese when he's angry. The pre-credit sequence was intense. Rick, Glenn, Daryl, and Bob are bound and on their knees. They're kneeling in front of a stainless steel trough. The trough is there to catch the blood that will drain from their slit throats. The butchers are armed with a baseball bat and a large chef's knife.
Hardcore,
I'm not going to go deeper.
That was... Nah, you talk about how to properly build up tension. I practically soiled myself, not to be gross, but I was like at the edge of my seat. I was like, I might need diapers here in a second. It was just that intense. I mean, that was rough, man. And Tyrese, I have to say this also. Now that we went there, Tyrese has been phenomenal. I love how much range that he's had, how much he's had to deal with, how much he's had to persevere. He's one of the strongest characters, you know, and I love that they finally have a strong, you know, minority character. Because it's important. Every black character they've had on the show, for example, has been rather weak, throwaway character that really didn't really add much value. Like, they were fun.
I can't believe you said that.
No, it's true, though, except for Michonne.
Michonne.
No, but they killed. But like, look at T-Dog. They could have done so much more with him, but he was a throwaway character.
Right.
I'm not saying anything wrong. See, now you just painted it in a bad light, bro. Tyrese is a really strong character. I'm happy that they wrote him so strong, and Michonne too. But you know, like I said, you know, now this show's become.
Still have problems with Michonne.
No, you know, I've accepted. They're trying to make it a comic book story now. So now I'm like, it's not realistic anymore. Now it's just superheroes, and I've just accepted that. Because even, you know, you have Commando Carol, you have Daryl who can destroy tanks. So it's a comic book story now. They're making it more like the comics. So, I mean, you got Rosalita, who's fighting in the most impractical combat gear possible. She might as well wear some Daisy Dukes. I know I try to keep it true to the comic, but, you know, a TV show and a comic, to me, you know, is the different platforms, and they should be treated as such. Don't get me started.
All right. Next comment, man. It's a long one.
Oh, gosh. And, of course, you want me to read it.
Oh, yeah.
So, Rachel...
I would choke up.
All right, well, we're about to get serious.
I mean, you may hear me sobbing in the background.
Well, yeah, and I agree, BFT. Glenn is a strong minority character. And he's really been the only Asian, too, yeah. And now they got a good diversity in the cast, but you know, unfortunately, there's been a lot of throwaway characters. Like, it's kind of like here. I don't know. I worry about that kind of stuff sometimes. It's kind of like the old trope, like in a horror movie, that black people always die first. It's wrong, but that's kind of how it works out. But anyway, let's get serious here. Rachel Beats left us a comment on YouTube. It's a diary of a mother separated from her child, quarantined in an Ebola, I always say Ebola, ravaged house. September 5th, 2014, 1:35 a.m. I had been sitting here under these street lights since yesterday, hoping to see him once more. While strange stares and whispering sounds seemed to be coming from all angles, I would await my child. Just yesterday, I held him in my arms and told him how much I loved him. He smiled at me so angelically and showed me life, assurance, and a nod of approval and my undying love. I told him I would do anything to protect you, but I was wrong. That was yesterday. Gone now was our happy home, which now seemed to be filled with fear and confusion. I would await my child. 9 a.m. I had been told by the security that I should go home. There's no need for you to do this to yourself, he said. I had already started removing each and every strand of my hair that I plaited last week, and I had even removed my shoes. Now my throat was sore from crying with tears that kept falling by themselves. I'd lost so much since my baby left. I wouldn't mind losing more until he could come home. September 8th, 2014, 10 o'clock p.m. Someone had called an ambulance for me. They said I look unwell. Others who passed by me thought I had lost my mind. They thought I'd always been this way. I drew a picture out of charcoal and asked the security to give it to my son, but they refused to take it. They remembered something about him not needing it anyway. 3 clothed bodies had been removed from the house. I'd counted each one, though I had never been to school before. December 11th, 2014. 7 p.m. I felt very sick. No one had come to my aid. A lady who knew my son in the community explained what had happened. She said his baby sister invited a sick relative to their house. The teenager was unwell for weeks, and his family decided to bring him to the city for treatment. He died in the living room the day after his arrival. No one told me that a sick person was at the house, and like every normal day, I dropped my son to his babysitter. I'm a single mother who only wanted the best for my child, so I went in the market to sell every day. I just wanted to make ends meet. September 14th, 2014. I saw the Ebola task force spraying the house today, unlocking the doors. I'm so weak. I managed to run closer to the house to see my son. This time, they didn't stop me. The house is empty. I'm sorry if my delivery was terrible, but that's heavy stuff.
It was good, dude.
Yeah, and you know, we talk so much about zombie apocalypse and, you know, the end of times and all this stuff, but that right there is like a scene out of a show or a movie or The Walking Dead. You know, it's something, but that, you know, it's worse. It's real. It's happening in our world right now. Those are real words. I mean, what do you say to that, Stan?
Yeah, my heart goes out to the mother. This is a true story, and it breaks my heart. After we got the comment, I searched for, hold on. I searched for more information, and I found this account in the Liberian Daily. So it is real. And you can see it was just, you know, a couple weeks ago. You know, it's horrible what's going on over there. They really do need our help. And we can't ignore their pain, their sorrow, and their tragedy. Somehow, we have to find a way to be merciful and compassionate.
I think I gave you the feels in the reading, huh?
You did. You did.
Yeah, I can't even make a lighthearted comment after that. I'm trying to make the mood better, but yeah, I mean, the one thing I will say that there is hope. I think, you know, a lot of us are not in a position to help, other than maybe bringing awareness to those that could help, and that is a big thing on its own. Spread the message until someone that's in a position to help could do something significant. You know, collectively we could do so much. So never think that any effort, big or small, you know, it all makes a difference. But I think the more important message might be is just that there is hope. You know, if people hearing that story, they can realize that we should not take for granted what we have today. You know, and you know, I say this a lot in our conversations, Stan, but this is what I mean by living in the moment, because you don't know what tomorrow will bring. Tomorrow is not guaranteed, man. I mean, I just got news about a close aunt of mine who, you know, was a bit of a mother figure in her own way. I mean, I love my mother, you know that, but she was there for me as well, and I found out she has terminal cancer, and it's been, you know, now it's like, well, I need to like find the funds to get up to New York and spend some time there. And not just affording the trip, is being able to say, I have this much money so I can afford to be away from my workspace and productivity, you know, and just focus on family for X amount of time.
And still have, you know, pay the bills and stuff while you're away, right?
Exactly. So, I mean, the airfare is cheap, but that's the least of the issue.
Right.
And that's time away from my family, and, you know, it's... I'm torn, man. You know, and your problems, whether they're big or small, they all matter. They're all important, and everybody has their limit. I think that's another thing I have to be sympathetic to. Because I find sometimes when you share your strife with people, they're like, well, yeah, that's bad, but I'm going through this. And it becomes a competition. Like, oh, so you lost an arm. Well, I lost 2 legs. Like, really? Are we really doing this? I'm just looking for some sympathy, like, you know. But that's what happens. It's a scary world when people do that kind of stuff. We're competing about who has the biggest problems and who has the most misery. That's sad. But anyway, let's pick up the tone here a little bit. You know, and if you do want to join the conversation, whether it's a happy thought, a sad thought, a realism, a hard reality, or something fictional, whatever you want to share. Maybe you want to talk about Doctor Who, maybe you want to talk about writing or creativity, whatever it is. We're open to all kinds of conversation, and we'd love to hear from you. One of the ways you can reach us is leaving comments on YouTube. We're also on Stitcher, iTunes, Spreaker, and of course geekyantics.net. That's GEEKYANTICS.net. .com works as well. I know people have the habit of typing .com on everything, so they both lead to the same place. But .net is the main one I promote. And that is our main hub, our home on the interwebs. You guys should call in and tell us what you really think. If you're within the U.S., it's 206-415-4987. And if you're calling from outside the U.S., it's 001-206-415-4987. And, of course, if you're calling from, like, an office building or whatever, you might have to dial 9 or something for an outside line, or you might have to enter a PIN. You know, you guys, our community is very smart. We know you guys will figure it out. So...
Yes.
And I mean that completely honestly. It's not a snide remark. No mouth garbage there. That's another thing.
Several of them found their way through my email. So.
Yes, very resourceful.
They're determined. Yeah.
No, you know, I think we do a good job of putting our stuff out there. So. It speaks equally about our efforts to be transparent and authentic, and as well as how smart everybody is in our community.
Yes.
But, you know, I wanted to mention that it's funny, these days, another thing that happens with the negative thinking out there, when you give people compliments these days, people always assume you're being sarcastic or underhanded. It's like, no.
Yeah.
So sad. But, you know, speaking of smart people and folks that go deep We have a voicemail here from our friend Isaac, who's a huge supporter of the show. And this guy, you know, he does not miss. I don't think he's missed a single show as far as voicemails for like 5-6 weeks now.
Yeah, I think so too.
So let's go ahead and play that voicemail message, and then we'll come back and we'll. I think we have time to get into it, don't we?
Yeah, why not? Don't we?
Well, I'm trying to see where we're at. Yeah, we're good. Here we go.
In today's world, we are hearing shocking and heartbreaking stories of violence, oppression, poverty, prejudice, exploitation, suffering, and need. We should not close our ears. Individually, we can't stop every bad thing from happening, but we can pray and we can be merciful and compassionate. Stan was trying to speak to this, that mercy and compassion are not just feelings. They are much, much more than sympathetic feelings and warm wishes. Having compassion and mercy means that we enter into the suffering of others. It is good to feel the pain and sorrow of others. We must see through their eyes wet with tears. We must feel the heaviness of their hearts. We must not be afraid. When we know the sorrows and pain of others, we are moved by mercy to feed the hungry, give water to those that thirst, give shelter to the homeless, visit and comfort the sick, the elderly and the hopeless, help those who struggle with disability and disease, protest against injustice, exploitation, and violence. The doctor may not be a compassionate and merciful man, but you are better than the doctor, more intelligent, more beautiful, more good, more truthful.
All right, and that was Isaac from Jamaica going deep with us, as always.
Thank you, Isaac.
He rocks. He has such good delivery. Maybe one day we might have collaboration there. Flash fiction as read by Isaac.
Ah, yeah.
Hey, maybe I wonder if he does any voice acting work. That might be something that could help him bring in a little extra money if he doesn't do it already.
Yeah.
Look at that. Collaborations being born right in front of you guys. BFT says that dude is cool. He is. So, Stan, what do you have for us?
So, C.S. Lewis, who you may know as author of the children's books The Chronicles of Narnia, was a scholar.
Never heard of it.
Or saw the movies?
Actually, I read the books long before the movies came out. That's actually one of the few books I can actually recall.
When you were a kid?
Yeah.
Cool.
The most everything else is like a blur.
Well, he was a scholar, a poet, a literary critic, and an English professor at Oxford University. In fact, he was Tolkien's best friend.
Mm-hmm.
So, among the many important ideas which Lewis will be remembered is his concern about the heartless and unemotional person. He called them men without chests. And at the conclusion of chapter 1 of his book, The Abolition of Man, C.S. Lewis writes of the paradox in which we find ourselves today and with the doctor. So he writes, Such is the tragic comedy of our situation. We continue to clamor for those very qualities we are rendering impossible. You can hardly open a magazine without coming across the statement that what our civilization needs is more drive or more dynamism, self sacrifice, or creativity. In a sort of ghastly simplicity, we remove the organ and demand the function. We make men without chests and expect of them virtue and enterprise. We laugh at honor and are shocked to find traitors in our midst. We castrate and bid the geldings be fruitful. I mean, he could have said this exactly about Doctor Who, Series 8.
Yeah, you know, this whole this is I mean, C.S. Lewis goes back enough, but this truth still holds true today.
Yes.
All of these truths, because people have this cake and eat it too kind of mentality. It's like, oh, you know, you want to like separate one thing or stop one thing, but then you want the benefits of that thing, and like it doesn't work that way. And that's what I love the phrase. You know, you can't have a cake and eat it too. Doesn't make much sense when you really dissect it, but you get the spirit of what that message is. But you know, definitely, I'm a firm believer that now more than ever, we do need our hearts. I'm a big fan of C.S. Lewis too, because I have a copy of Grief Observed sitting at my desk. One of the few books I keep within arm's reach, just because, you know, the way he experienced pain, it always hits home to me, and it keeps me in check. It's like, let me stop being whiny.
It was quite romantic, you know.
Yeah.
He married an American woman late in her life, theoretically so that she could get her green card to be in the UK. And he fell in love with her, and she died of cancer, and left him with her son. And he was torn up about it. I think he almost went insane.
Yeah, I mean, you see the whole process in the book.
Right.
It's powerful stuff. Still trying to get people that are close to me to read it, because I think it gives you perspective on what you go through, because you feel him going down this really dark path, and then all of a sudden he transforms it. You know?
Yes.
It's good to get those real life happy endings. But you know, we need our hearts, not just to have feelings, but feelings that fuel us in our struggles, and patience to do the right thing. Because that's the thing. That's just the thing right there. It's just like a Grief Observed. You know, when we don't get that instant gratification, so, you know, we don't get the immediate reward, we give up. You know, and we might be on the verge of a breakthrough. Patience is a big part of it. I mean, we do live in an instant world. I mean, everything, you know, look how fast we get information. Just Google something and you can learn something right on the spot. You know, so much knowledge at our fingertips. And you know, coffee's instant. You got TV dinners you can make in like 2 minutes now. I mean, everything's instant. So now it's like we don't have patience for anything that takes any real investment. It's a shame. Because the best things still require time. But I think we covered all our, you know, before we go deeper, you usually go into ways you can connect with us and different, like little tidbits about the show. For example, our mailing list, which now it is a very handy dandy link, which is at bit.ly/gang, G-A-N-G, all caps, and then mail, all lowercase. You just go there, you can subscribe to our mailing list and stay up to date with all the stuff going on, as it happens, usually. That's a good way, you know, that's our VIP list, so we could let you know there's special things going on. You get a little preview before everyone else does. Or you can just go to geekyantics.net, and there's a subscription form there as well. And our forums is also, our forums are also at geekyantics.net /forums. And as always, you can check us out on Twitter. Just look up hashtag TWTT. I'm at Yogizilla, and Stan is at Faryna, Faryna. And voicemail up once again, 206-415-4987, 206-415-4987. I'm going to try to wrap up this first half here with a quick recap, quick little introduction to Series 8, Episode 8, titled Mummy on the Orient Express. So, the Doctor and Clara go on a last hurrah aboard the spacefaring Orient Express. Clara intends this to be her last adventure with the Doctor. But this isn't a sexy hurrah. A hurrah ripe with mixed metaphors of romance and sexual adventure. There is a story here. It's mystery, murder, and a mummy. Stan?
There's a problem.
Oh, already?
Because the Doctor is C.S. Lewis's man without a chest.
Oh.
And lots of people in our community are upset by it.
Nah, let's be fair. He's not complete without a chest. He's got like a third of a chest. he showed some signs in this episode.
How?
Yeah, I'm not gonna get into it. See, Stan's more of a cup half empty kind of guy. I'm a cup half full. I like to see the good in people.
No, I'm out of the box, man. The cup is either empty or it's full.
Well, see, if we believe in people, we empower them to become what we believe they can be. Self-fulfilling prophecies are real, man. If you expect people to
say,
what does Peppa say? Fine. See, Stan doesn't want to go into that. Peppa Farah says, después de este episodio con la momia, no creo que voy a estar viendo más episodios del médico. El médico no tiene sentimientos sobre personas que mueren. Este es un problema serio para mí. Es muy bueno que se quiera resolver el problema. Pero la gente tiene que ser reconocido y apreciado como personas en sus últimos momentos. ¿Alguna vez has visto a alguien que está solo cuando muere? Es desgarrador. Este no es ser médico, que yo sepa. Esto es psicópata. No necesito este tipo de historia estúpida y sin corazón en mi vida. There's a lot of stuff here. Whew. So, after watching, this is what Pepa said. After watching the episode with the mummy, I don't think I'm going to watch any more of the Doctor. The Doctor doesn't have feelings regarding people who die. This is a very serious problem for me. It's great that they resolve problems, but people have to be recognized and appreciated like people in their final moments. Have you ever seen someone in their final moments as they're dying? It's gripping, it's moving, you know. It's disconcerting. It's kind of hard to translate that particular word. But this is not being a doctor that I know of. It's being a sociopath. I don't need this kind of story, stupid story, and sin. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm reading in English. And lack of heart or heartlessness in my life. So yeah, I mean. No, don't give me the ad. Don't give me the ad. No, don't give me. That doesn't prove anything. It's so easy to focus on the bad. That's what we do as mankind. We got us to see more of the good in each other. And I'm saying throw the bad aside. There's still some good in him. He's not an evil person. He's misguided. He's lost. And I think with some nurturing and the proper revelation and motivation, he'll be the Doctor we know him to be.
If your eye offends you, pluck it out, man. Obviously, in this case, he's got 2 hearts that need to be removed.
Oh my
Because
goodness.
they're bad.
I think he doesn't. I think he just compartmentalizes too much. That's the problem.
After 2,000 years of experience.
Well, that's the writer's. I mean, again, it's the writer's fault. They're trying to push this whole thing too hard. This whole agenda. They need to get past it, and show more dynamic.
Yeah, the Doctor is not a Generation Xer.
All right. Well, I still see hope. That's all. I'm not gonna get into the debate because it will not bear any fruit. But do you have anything else to say about it, Stan? No? Okay.
Yes, I do.
Do you?
You remember in Time Heist
Oh.
how Sai is upset that Saber just died, and the Doctor says, "When you're done here, by all means, you go and find yourself a shoulder to cry on. You'll probably need that."
Mm-hmm.
Don't you remember anything from the present episode?
Yes, and he said this is probably the end for you. Make it count. Details, please.
Yeah, someone who's facing their murderer who's about to kill them. That's all he has to say.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Well, he has terrible bedside manner. What can I say? But I don't think he doesn't care completely. It's just that he's become this person that's put his emotions in a box when he's in the moment where he needs to be logical and think on his feet, and he doesn't want the emotion in the way. And that's what a lot of people do. It doesn't mean they're bad people, but they don't know that they're not, that caring and being effective and a problem solver do not have to be mutually exclusive. He hasn't found that in some way. I mean, and what I think is more stupid is the fact that he lost his memories and apparently lost every bit of who he is, and he's starting from the beginning. And I'm hoping that the only way they can fix this is if they say this is a new regeneration cycle, so he's basically starting off as a baby. Then I can kind of buy it.
But he still has memories.
But he still has memories, and who knows? Maybe the TARDIS said, "Here's all the data I have, but emotions I don't understand. I don't know how to parse that data." I don't know. It's a stretch, but you know, again, poor writing. But I don't think he's completely hopeless. He cares. You know, if he didn't care, he just would ignore Clara's concerns and not even bother talking to her. Someone who's truly evil would just be whatever. You know, she tells him, she cites her concerns, and he addresses them. He says, "Hey, sometimes the only choices we have left are the bad ones."
I don't accept that.
Hey, that's because you're a ballbuster, Stan. Give me a little bit of wiggle room. Good Lord.
No, that's what the Doctor said, and I disagree. You know, I think that the problem of evil is that the greatest problem of evil is that more short-term good is done by evil means than by good means. And, you know, because people choose the lesser evil, it works out for them in the short run, and that seems okay, but in the long run, it just devastates us all, you know.
I think he's making the mistake that he has to be the cold, calculating one to get things done, and the companion is the caring, emotional side.
It's just like the people, from Terminus. You're the butcher or you're the cattle.
I don't think he's gone that bad. See, I don't think he's that far gone. Those people were far gone. They got purely.
What's the difference?
Those people were purely.
They solve a problem. They eat.
No, but. No. You know what? And I don't buy the cannibalism thing. They left that very... I know... I'm not going to go into it. I'm not going to get into it. It's a trap. That's what they want, people. They left that breadcrumb trail, but I'm hoping, again, that they're going to do something better with that. Because cannibalism is too predictable. That's what they did in the comics. And
why is this too predictable? I mean, you don't have a food supply.
There's still food. The animals are not affected by the zombie outbreak in the Walking Dead universe, and they still have plenty of places to get food. I mean, I don't know.
They don't have Daryl with a crossbow.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. You need a Daryl
Yeah.
to get food. But here's a thing. So there was a little exchange with Clara. I'm not gonna get to the whole thing, but this part of the notes I wrote while we were watching the episode together. So Clara, goes into a whole discussion with him, and she goes, "So you were pretending to be heartless?" And he goes, "Would you like to think that about me? Would that make it easier?"
Yeah.
And he said, I didn't know I could save her. And that's when he said that sometimes the only choices you have are bad ones, but you still have to choose. And what's more, Perkins, which I think was a pretty significant character.
Yep.
I quite enjoyed the engineer on the train.
And he was smart enough to say, "Thank you for the invitation, but no thanks. I'm out of here."
Yes, that job could change a man. And the doctor said, "Yes, it does, frequently." So he's tormented, he's hurting, he obviously, he's human. He's gonna come out of this funk. I don't think he's a bad person. He's lost. And he's hurting. And they need to do a better job of showing that. Because they made him seem like such a jerk. And, I don't know, a turd. But anyway, poor writing. I still love the doctor. I still believe in you. But you have something to say about mouth garbage, or did you get out of your system, Stan? Like, are you done dumping on the doctor?
It's not mouth garbage when you point out the truth.
No, I said you had something to say with regards to mouth garbage on the show. I thought.
No, well, telling a person when they're facing a violent, horrible death, hey, just give me some descriptions of the attacker because nobody can see the mummy except for the victim. That's mouth garbage. I mean, no words of comfort, no words of sympathy. And he could have.
Yeah, it's just something we could go into. I think it'll be a better debate once the season's over, and then we can have a better picture. Because if they don't do something with his character by the end of the series, then we could really pass judgment. But I've seen little glimpses of a good doctor, the doctor as we've known him. And
I'm not surprised because the writer of this episode, Jamie Matheson, is also a stone-hearted man.
And the next episode, I think, is a Jamie Matheson episode too.
Yes, and I saw it on Twitter. So he was talking about someone related to the cast and crew of Doctor Who had a heart attack and was in the hospital, and someone was like, "I'll pray for him," and his reply was, "He doesn't need prayers. He just needs to get better." So you have heartless men writing heartless stories. I do my research, dude.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I know you still have hope for the Doctor, and so do I.
I just have hope for humankind as well. Patch. I mean, I'm surrounded by jerk faces. I call them my family, but I still love them, and I hope that with that love, they'll become better people. And I think we need to think more about that. It's so easy to pass judgment and say you're a bad person. I think we should judge the action and not the person.
And they need to stop the action immediately.
Yes, that's the responsibility of the writers.
Yes.
I think Peter Capaldi has been phenomenal. I love him. I love the new intro. I'm still super fanboyish about it, but anyway, we gotta wrap up this first half and take a little break because we will go deep and not get much more discussed. But we're gonna. Oh, well, we didn't even get to all the voicemail messages.
Well,
Okay,
we're gonna play Jane's message before the intermission song.
so we'll play two voicemail messages. I think we have Tanya and Jane.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we'll be back in about 6 minutes or so. Sounds good?
Sounds awesome.
See you after the break, guys.
Whatever flows in your deeds or works or through your mouth, all of it comes from your heart. If your heart is pure, what comes out will be pure and beautiful. You will speak and write encouraging, illuminating, and inspiring words. You will be merciful, kind, and patient. If your heart is corrupt, you will speak mouth garbage. You will lie, you will say vulgar things, and you will ignore the problems and sorrows of the world. If your heart is corrupt, you will do great evil and harm, even unintentionally.
People have many different ways of accusing or downplaying the misuse of our mouths and our words. They think and say that it does not matter what we say, but God says it matters. Are you a liar, or is God a liar? In Matthew 12:37, Jesus says, "By your words you shall be justified, by your words you shall be condemned." The misuse of your mouth or words is a serious matter. Do not trifle with it. Be honest. Stop being your own worst enemy. Like Stan said, we have to admit that we have a problem. We have to admit that we have a disease on our mouth, our lips, and on our thoughts. It condemns us. Mouth garbage is sin. Stop lying to yourself. Make no more excuses. You can make this a better world, and you can make a better you if you confess your sin and receive God's forgiveness and cleansing. Lift up your arms to heaven right now and confess your mouth garbage to God. Ask God for forgiveness, cleansing, and healing. And may God bless you, and by His grace make you new, holy, and righteous.
Love is patient. Love is kind and is not jealous. Love does not brag, is not arrogant, does not act unbecomingly, does not seek its own, is not provoked, does not take into account a wrong suffered, does not rejoice in unrighteousness, but rejoices with the truth, bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never fails.
How can